Okay, so hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of AI and Oats, which is my daily show where I answer some questions and react to some news articles about AI, but usually I just end up rambling, and it is so called because I do it while eating a bowl of porridge, which I have actually got today, for once. But first, quickly, if you're new here, which in all likelihood you are, welcome. Who am I? Well, I'm Alistair, and this is my channel where I teach Claude Code and Codex for knowledge work and business workflows. But I also run an AI consulting and training business called Ducks, and if you'd like to work with me to see how AI can be usefully implemented into your business and actually grow revenue for you, or if you'd like me to work with you one-to-one to help you build out your own AI operating system with Claude Code or Codex, please check out the link in the description. Equally, I also run a school community where I go into even more detail about my Claude Code and Codex setups and share my skills and actual systems. Again, the link for that is in the description if you're interested. But now that the preliminaries are out of the way, let's dive into the questions. So the way this works is basically during the day, I have a kind of Codex loop that goes and scans the web for various interesting questions from forums or interesting news articles. Then it puts them into this deck for me, and I come home and I react to them or answer them. How do you stop Codex/Claude from over-engineering small coding tasks? I don't know for a fact if there's one absolute fix. The obvious thing that comes to me would be something like putting in your AGENTS.md or CLAUDE.md, depending whether you're using Codex or Claude Code. Early on, a principle of kind of, do the minimal possible fix, or kind of don't overcomplicate it, that sort of thing. Something like simplicity is key. And that will not be an absolute silver bullet, let's say, because that's not kind of deterministic hard guardrails, but it is guidance that might help. I suppose the other thing you could do is, I guess, frequently have a sub-agent review code that's being written and make sure it's not over-engineered. I suppose theoretically you could even do that as a stop hook, but that seems a bit like overkill. So I guess to me the obvious thing would be add something to some sort of AGENTS.md or CLAUDE.md. Right, next question. Has anyone tried a minimal AGENTS.md that grows with your repo? What's this about? I mean, minimal AGENTS.md sounds quite logical to me, because you probably want to simplify the principles, and since it's going to be loaded in every time, you don't want it to become kind of bloated or waste your context. What I don't know is exactly what is meant by grows with your repo. It could be an interesting concept. I guess if what you're saying is you kind of have an AGENTS.md, this is how I would imagine it. Part of your AGENTS.md is something along, maybe there's a line in there. Maybe what you have is very basic principles, like the stuff we just established, don't over-engineer things, make sure everything is fixed at the root cause, and that sort of thing. And then maybe you have a line in the AGENTS.md, this is just how I would structure it, saying, like, add when appropriate to the AGENTS.md, like if something has come up multiple times. Or I suppose what you could do is kind of have a scheduled task that says, look through all our conversations and work within this project, what principles do you think should be added to the AGENTS.md? Maybe you do that every week or at the end of every day. That would be the way I would do it. It's not something I've come across before, but it doesn't seem wildly illogical, to be honest, so it might be worth a try. Right, so this is talking about using Codex and Claude Code to fix problems with Windows machines. Well, I don't use a Windows machine, so I can't speak to that necessarily. What I do say is Claude Code and Codex are quite useful for debugging my own laptop. That certainly happens sometimes. Like sometimes I'll get... what I'll usually do is basically either Claude or Codex will usually cause some minor bug, like not allowing me to open Chrome because it's like running a kind of headless one without me realizing, so I can't get it to open a new window, something like that. And then I'll go into the other one of them and say, Codex is doing something weird with my Chrome, can you sort it out? Or I'll go into Codex and say, like, Claude Code has been really slow, can you sort it out? And I have found that having them as a kind of tag team to fix each other's problems certainly is very useful. That being said, I am currently trying to fix with Codex an issue that with my iCloud syncing that is causing issues with my Claude Code, and I haven't got there yet, but I'm optimistic, because I do agree fundamentally with this that Codex and Claude Code probably actually know much more about fixing computers and using computers than I do. And so this is a useful function for them, is kind of as your own personal IT help team. Is email marketing for small business actually worth it? Or is that just something agencies say? I don't know for a fact. I've, funnily enough, just started a kind of like cold email campaign myself recently. I think what you can do is it's now very easy to set up. You know, if you want to connect the instantly MCP or something to Codex or Claude Code, I mean, you can now have Codex or Claude Code automate the research, you know, connect it to Apollo MCP or something to get the email addresses, write the emails in your voice. You can even have it produce free proof assets, like it can easily kind of make a simple website mock-up or like a quiz or something to send someone to show the kind of things it can do. I mean, that is very easy. You can automate all of that and then just turn that. You can have it handle like instantly campaigns as well. And then what you can also do is set up like a loop that is going to check, you know, the success rate of different like pieces of email copy and that sort of thing, you know, by connecting it to the instantly MCP, and it will upgrade it and improve it and test different things and kind of self-improve in that way. So I've just started a cold email campaign using all of these kind of automations and tools and MCPs with Instantly and Codex and Claude Code and that sort of thing. It's very kind of nascent at this point, so I can't comment necessarily as to how successful it's been so far, but I will let you know how it goes and if it's good. But I think it will be quite functional. Certainly it's easier now than it ever has been, I think, to do an email marketing campaign because of Claude Code and Codex. Anyone know how long Codex threads can go for, how many compactions it goes through until it maxes out? I don't know for a fact. I feel, I might be wrong about this, personally, just from I haven't looked it up, I'm sure I can look it up, but kind of anecdotally, it feels to me like the context window is a little bit smaller in Codex, like using GPT 5.6 Sol or something, than it is with Opus 5 or Fable 5, and obviously Opus 5, Fable 5, those are 1 million context windows, and I don't know what it is for Codex. It does feel smaller, it feels like it compacts more often. That being said, I feel like the quality is generally fairly good through compactions. I don't know what the max is. Every now and then, though, I do get issues where I will discuss something with Codex in a thread, then further on in the thread, not even necessarily always after it's compacted, it just will not always remember it. But to be fair, it's not that it won't remember it, it's that it will ask without thinking about the fact that it's been discussed already, because if I then push it and say, what are you doing? That's not what we discussed earlier, it will say, oh yes, you are correct. I would say from my own personal use case, I find myself kind of clearing and starting new threads slightly less often in Codex than I do in Claude Code. That being said, I do still often get handoff prompts from Codex, and actually there's a thing that I don't have Codex do it all the time, but it certainly kind of happened to me in the past, almost accidentally, where Codex can message another chat itself and either kind of start a new chat or just like implant a message directly into another chat. So yeah, I feel like, so Dan Shipper, I believe his name is, from Every, I feel like I saw a video of him talking about GPT 5.6 when it first came out and his Codex use of it, and I feel like he had really long running chats on that, really long running threads in Codex on that. So I don't know, to me it feels like Codex works slightly better through compaction than Claude Code, but that is purely anecdotal and I have no actual evidence of that. No kind of official metrics to back that up. Right, I think that's going to do it for today's questions. Hopefully there was a bit of useful info there. Probably a slightly shorter episode today than normal. Hopefully I was able to provide some value though. If you did enjoy it, please feel free to subscribe. I do these videos pretty much every day. And I also do some more targeted theme videos. I'll probably have one coming up on loop engineering, and I'll probably combine it with graph engineering as well, because since my previous video where I claimed I did not know what graph engineering was, I've researched it. Turns out I was sort of already using graph engineering without knowing that it was classified as such. So I'll probably have a video coming up on loop and graph engineering at some point soon. And yeah, like I said earlier, if you do run a business and you'd like to work with me to see how AI can help you grow your revenue and where it can be implemented effectively, feel free to book a call in the through the link in the description, or if you'd like to join our school community, feel free to check that out as well in the description. But thank you very much for watching, everyone. I will see you tomorrow.